Hello Raiders, we are continuing with the over 500 series where I drop over 500 hours of Arc Raiders wisdom and knowledge with you guys, and today we will be teaching you how to build every single gun in the game. So grab some popcorn. It's going to be a long one. We're going to talk about the best attachments for the guns. Some guns you want to use the same attachments on over and over again. Some guns don't even need attachments, or there's no attachment that's really relevant for what the gun does. We will also be debunking and explaining what all of these attachments do and mean in regards to playstyles. And some of these guns, like I said, have multiple build variations. We'll go over that. We'll touch base on if the gun's better for PvP, PvE. A lot of fun nuggets of wisdom for each of these guns as we go through each of them methodically. Now, before we get started, we're not going to talk about the Hairpin. There's not much you can do for the Hairpin besides level it up and put a mag on it. And we're not really going to talk about these legendary guns because, as you can see, with the Jupiter, the Equalizer, there's not even attachment slots. There's no way to build them. So Jupiter hits arc hard, single burst fires, a lot of damage. Equalizer, laser beam melts armor off the arc, and then the Aphelion, this has a little knockback to it, and this one actually does have attachment slots. So if you do want attachments for your Aphelion, I recommend the lightweight stock so you can pull it out really quickly, and the vertical grip 3 so you can tighten up that burst since it does shoot in 2-round bursts. So a little nugget for the Aphelion. And then the Hullcracker, it does have a stock slot and a underbarrel slot, but again, it's really not going to affect how well the gun performs. The main thing is leveling it up to level 4, so it gets the 53% increased fire rate. And then because I have the slots, I put a stable stock 1 and just like a vertical grip 1, but it's really not going to affect the Hullcracker all too much, so you don't really need to worry about these. So those 5 guns, we're not going to really talk about too much, but the rest of these guns, we're going to hop into the practice range. I'm going to talk about each one individually. We'll start at the assault rifles, go into the shotguns, the battle rifles, snipers, SMGs, and then finally the pistols. And I guarantee you, you will learn something. You will learn a lot in this video about how to build your guns, ideal attachments. And not all of these are going to be like the most expensive attachments. Like I'm not going to tell you put a horizontal grip on all your guns. I'm not going to tell you put a kinetic converter on all of your guns. While we're on that topic, kinetic converter, not really going to talk about it in relation to these weapons, but if you want to put that on your guns, I would say probably the Bobcat, the Stitcher, or like the Renegade are probably the 3 best options for it. But in general, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to focus on the core attachments that you can craft in the gunsmith for the purposes of this video. So that way everybody has access to these guns. And then if you do find some horizontal grips, I'll tell you what guns to put those on and what to do with them. Don't worry. Let's hop into the gun range. And also one more disclaimer. I put everything on low. I'm trying to record everything to where it doesn't stutter. But it's probably still going to stutter. I have to buy a new PC if I'm going to keep making content for this game. But I did really want to show these in the gun range so I could show some recoil patterns and stuff like that as well. So forgive me if there's a little stutter whenever I rotate the camera. Something I know exists, but it shouldn't just take away too much from like showing you these guys recoil patterns and how attachments affect all of these guns, etc., etc. So let's hop into it. To the firing range, you guys. Yes, gentlemen. Let's get started. We got some guns, and we're gonna shoot them in the firing range today. Yes, I did just stand here and put a clip of ammo into every one of these guns, and now everything is reloaded. So you guys don't have to wait and watch me reload as we're talking about these guns. So first on the list is the bad boy himself, the Tempest, an assault rifle. When you upgrade this to level 4, it will reduce the horizontal recoil by 50% and reduce reload time by 40%. For the love of God, this is a gun you definitely want to upgrade, especially since it's so expensive. You might as well deck it out. Now, the Tempest is one of those guns that actually has multiple builds that are actually viable on it. So let's take these attachments off first. And I'm going to show you what how the Tempest looks just firing at a dummy like 20 meters away. It is a full auto gun with the biggest mag. It's 37 rounds. So we'll show you the recoil pattern real quick. And I'm not going to pull down. I'm not going to adjust. I'm just going to fire. As you can see, gentlemen, there is a bit of side-to-side bounce, but majority of the recoil pulls upward. So there's 2 setups I like to help mitigate with this. So there is some side-to-side bounce, that's for sure, but most of the recoil really does just go upward. So when it comes to attachments, guys, the first slot right here on most guns is going to be like the barrel slot. You can put a compensator in, which will reduce per shot dispersion and max shot dispersion. If you go all the way up to the compensator 3, it'll increase your durability burn rate by 20%, which isn't too big a deal. But basically, every smaller compensator does some version of this to a lesser degree. And then there's also muzzle brakes, which reduce vertical and horizontal recoil by 25%. So this is going to mitigate the upwards pull and the side-to-side bounce of your bullets. There's also suppressors you can put in here to nullify the sound of your shots. And then there's also the extended barrel, which will increase bullet velocity and vertical recoil. Not really viable on most guns, but there are a few guns that it is viable on, and we'll talk about it more when we get to those guns. And then for the underbarrel slot, you can use something like a vertical foregrip, which reduces the vertical recoil by 40%. Every other vertical grip is going to reduce it by a smaller degree, but you won't get that 30% ADS penalty. These penalties are primarily with the more severe, are the rarer and the epic attachments. There's usually some downside to the full bust of the attachments, but there's also things like angle grips. Like we got an angle grip on the Stitcher here. That's what it looks like. It reduces the horizontal recoil, so that's side-to-side bounce. So for the underbarrels, you can either reduce vertical recoil or side-to-side recoil. And for most guns, the side-to-side recoil is what you want to focus on. Then there's the mag slots, and then there's the stock slots. And then for stocks, we'll talk about it more here in a bit. There's not a stock lot on the stock mod on the Tempest. We won't get into that. So the first thing here, before we put any attachments on this Tempest, let's talk about dispersion and recoil. So we saw the recoil pattern just now, but now look at that circle in the middle. I'm crouching right now, so it's going to take a little bit longer before it gets bigger. Actually, I'll do this one standing. Now you can see when that big circle gets to its maximum spot, the bullets can technically bounce anywhere within that circle. So right now, you know, we're getting some recoil, but most of those shots at the start, they're dead on. It's mainly just an incline bounce. You don't get more of that side-to-side bounce until the dispersion starts to open up and bloom. And then when the dispersion blooms, now, as you can see, like my bullets can go anywhere inside that circle. So what a compensator does here is it will decrease that bloom, so it'll take much longer before that big circle gets bigger. So this is just the compensator, and as you can see, we are having some recoil, but it's a lot tighter just because that dispersion, like there's the per shot dispersion, notice it gets a little bigger with each shot, but then there's the max shot dispersion after I keep spamming it, where I'm like, I'm still big, but I'm not nearly as big as I was without the compensator. So then that leaves us, well, now we have it as tight as possible and we're climbing upwards. So what do we want to work on, the vertical recoil or the horizontal recoil? Now, I would say if you're using the compensator and you have a horizontal grip laying around, this is the epic grip, reduces your horizontal and vertical recoil by 30%. So this baby should be dead on accurate. As you can see, we got a little pull. I actually pulled down on my mouse a little bit there. Pick the rest of this ammo here, but let me shoot it without even pulling up on it. This is with the compensator and the horizontal grip. As you can see, it's dead on, still pretty freaking accurate, but still the main thing with the recoil is it just goes up. So if you're using the compensator, putting a horizontal grip is great because you get vertical and horizontal recoil control, and that side-to-side bounce shouldn't really be much. You can even do this within like an angle grip if you wanted. But what I like the most on the Tempest is actually not the setup. Like for most guns, you're going to want the compensator, some kind of grip. If you don't have a horizontal grip, a vertical grip, or a angle grip, I think are both viable here for the Tempest. I've seen people talking about preferring the angle grip on the Tempest, but the side-to-side bounce really is not that bad. And now, this is going to be surprising for a lot of you guys out there because the muzzle brake is widely considered dog shit by like basically the entire community. No lie, no lie. And honestly, it is pretty dog shit for most guns, because most of the time you're going to want a compensator on your guns, especially if it's a full auto gun, basically for what we just discussed. And a compensator is an excellent pick for the Tempest, as well as like a horizontal grip or an angle grip. But I'm going to show you the magic that happens with a vertical grip and a muzzle brake. And this is just through trial and error, but this has been like my favorite setup for the Tempest. Now I'm not even going to pull down on it. I'm just going to shoot. God damn. I didn't pull down on my mouse. That is basically no recoil. And the thing is, while we do get our big bloom, our shots are still really accurate because there's not as much side-to-side bounce and there's hardly any vertical recoil. And if you even try to control this, this turns the Tempest into a laser beam. Like we saw earlier when I first shot the Tempest, the first few shots were pretty much dead on and they just went upwards. And when you put a muzzle brake on, that still applies. So with this Tempest, like with the compensator Tempest, you could probably be better at spraying. So after like 8-9 bullets, you can just keep on spraying. But with the muzzle brake Tempest, those first 8-9 shots, they are dead on accurate. This time I'm going to compensate for the recoil. Like, you literally have no trouble hitting your targets. Even when the bloom's maxed, it still makes the gun a proper beamer. So I really like the muzzle brake here. But if you did want to maximize the efficiency of this, the way to shoot it with the muzzle brake is empty out like the first 10 shots, take a small break just to reset the recoil, and then just be on beam. But as you can see, even if you are spraying, you're really not going to have any issues shooting this Tempest. So yeah, my ideal setup for the Tempest is actually muzzle brake with a vertical grip of some sort. And then the best mag you can find for most guns, especially full auto guns, we're going to recommend the best mag in this video, but not all the guns, so don't worry, it's going to be some variety. Let's move on to the Bettina. Oh boy, the Bettina. I need to get some more medium ammo here because we guzzled a lot on that Tempest, and I know we're going to need it. Gonna need it. So here, the Bettina. Ah, the Bettina. Another epic weapon. You'd probably expect this weapon to be just like awesome. Like the Tempest, I didn't talk about this. Let me go back to Tempest real quick. Tempest is a really amazing all-around gun. You will guzzle through medium ammo, so highly recommend bringing at least like 4 or 5 clips when you're rocking a Tempest. But this gun is good at everything. It's good at dealing with the arc. It's good at PvP. It's not the best and doesn't excel in any one thing, but is a very good all-around weapon. I like pairing my Tempest with like an Osprey. I don't know why. It just feels good to me using a lightweight stock Osprey just to save some ammo. Use the Osprey for the arc and use the Osprey for those really long range shots. But anything close range to mid range, I'm just beaming with the Tempest. And that's a pretty sweet setup I like to use. And one of my favorite secondary guns to use for the Tempest. But now let's go into the Bettina. We're done with the Tempest. Slow rate of fire, high damage output. Basically, upgrading this to level 4 will basically just reduce your reload time a little bit and increase your fire rate by 15%. But the Bettina it's a weird gun. Let's take the attachments off real quick. There, let's just drop that to the ground. And I'm going to show you the Bettina. This is how it shoots. God damn, and this is why the Bettina is bad, because not only does it have a pretty decent recoil, but it's like a weird slanted recoil pattern, and also the side-to-side bounce on this gun is crazy. So this is why it's pretty bad in PvP, because with a weapon that's slow to fire, like if you're shooting something that's full auto and really fast like the Tempest, a couple missed shots isn't going to really affect your time to kill and how long it takes to bring somebody down that much. But on a weapon like the Bettina that shoots so slow, every shot matters. So while this one does have a pretty competitive time to K if like killing people and using for PvP, and honestly, like without any attachment, let's see how spot on we could be on this dummy real quick. We'll just pretend it's a player. And I'm definitely missing shots, but I'm at least hitting a couple of shots. So I mean, at close range, you can hit your shots with a Bettina, but where it really struggles is at range, just being accurate. Like, you might gun down some people, also you're going to go through heavy ammo like a motherfucker. And the thing that sucks with the Bettina is that 22 rounds in a mag, and heavy ammo only stacks in 40. Like, light, you get 100 rounds. Medium, you get 80 rounds. So this makes more sense for full auto guns. 40 rounds for a Ferro is plenty. You have 40 shots on a Ferro is a ton, but 40 shots on the Bettina is nothing. So you're going to have to waste a lot of inventory slots to bring enough heavy ammo for this. So I would not recommend this gun for PvP. For PvE and dealing with the arc, have fun. So my ideal setup for this, since I am basically using it as an arc killer weapon, is I do put a suppressor on it because I do like keeping the gun quiet. And then if you have a horizontal grip, bring a horizontal grip. If you don't, I would put an angle grip on this for sure, because that side-to-side bounce is crazy. But there is a vertical pull and a horizontal pull, so I like to use a horizontal grip. Like, if you don't care about suppressing your Bettina, definitely go for the Compensator or the muzzle brake on top of a grip. Probably I would do like a Compensator 3 with like an angle grip 3, because this one has a crap ton of recoil. So we're going to try and mitigate that. We'll do the horizontal grip for 30% off the horizontal and the vertical recoil control, and the padded stock for 15% reduced vertical and horizontal recoil control. And this padded stock, you're going to see this on a lot of different guns. This is really good for all your full auto assault rifles. Like, if the whoa, my God, if the Tempest had a stock option and you could put a padded stock on a Tempest, that would be 100%. That would push it into meta and make it feel like a epic tier weapon. I guarantee it. Because what this attachment does to guns like the Stitcher, the Bobcat, even the Bettina to an extent. Like, this Bettina is not a good example for it, but you can see how this gun can really transform like a gun with shitty recoil into something that's almost a proper beamer. But it does have some penalties. 20% increased equip and unequip time, and you will have a little nerf to your ADS speed, but you're getting best of both worlds. Vertical, horizontal, you're getting the stock, and then we also have the grip. So I'll show you what the recoil pattern looks like without any compensations. And as you can see, significantly tighter. We do veer off to the right a little bit, and we do go up, and there is a little bit of a bounce between shots. But you will have a much easier time staying on target with this, and this time I'll try to actually compensate. And as you can see, anything kind of close range, you're dead on accurate. Like, even in PvP, this wouldn't be the worst if we're taking a fight within 20 meters. But definitely longer range, like that dummy's pretty close to 40 meters. Let me pull back here, show you 40 meters. Like, if we're trying to shoot something at 40 meters with the Bettina, let me just show you how hard it is. Even compensating for the recoil, and we're going to even crouch. I've shared about this in my last video, but a lot of people don't know. If you crouch, it makes your shots more accurate, and it delays how big your dispersion gets bigger, so you can beam for longer crouch. It's kind of a recoil hack, and some guns go from just shit accurate to really accurate if you do crouch. So if anytime you're taking long range fights, you need to be doing this movement tech. You need to just be crouching and taking shots. And if it is something at 40 plus meters, there's no reason why you can't be shooting them crouched. It's not like you're in a close quarter situation where you need to be on your feet and rolling around. No, for sure. Like, if you're taking long range fights, crouch, your accuracy will go up a ton, I guarantee you. But we'll see how good we are at hitting 40 meters. We should be pretty decent, I think. I'm going to compensate for the recoil, but you will see I am going to miss some shots. As you can see, especially when that bloom goes up, like, I'm definitely missing everything. So you could mitigate that. Like, if you had a compensator on this, you could probably take some 40-meter shots and be kind of okay with it, assuming you're crouched, especially for arc. But since we're just using this for arc, we keep it suppressed, and we use the horizontal grip and the padded stock just to have the most accurate arc beamer we can. And for arc, this is a great gun. This is a great gun for arc, for sure. Definitely no disputing that. And actually, you know, it's kind of satisfying to shoot. We have to reset in a few days. I'm about to lose all these guns, but we'll just... yeah. It's a fun gun, and if you like the Bettina, you're a weird one. I like it, but I'm never going to use this for a PvP fight or bring it to a PvP lobby. But if I'm in some Kumbaya-friendly lobbies, yeah, this is what I want to bring. And just have a little bit of fun. Have a little bit of fun, guys. Bettina's actually kind of fun. All right, so we'll move on to the next gun. We have the Rattler. Oh, the Rattler, widely considered to be the worst gun in the game because, well, here we'll show you how the Rattler like looks with no attachments. We'll take all attachments off. So basically, when you look at level, this is a gun at level 1 that's dog shit because you only get 12 rounds. Like, a 12-round Rattler ain't gonna do anything. If you have that on a free loadout, just spam your mag and then whip out your crowbar and just go try to melee some people to death. That's literally what I do if I have a free loadout Rattler. But when you get it to level 4, you get the full mag size. So it goes up to 24-round mag, and then it's actually pretty decent. Like, you can do some good beaming with the Rattler. The thing with the Rattler is you really need to take it slow because leveling this up to 4 is a benefit in the sense that you get those 24 rounds to shoot the gun, but it's also a hindrance because it takes even longer to reload those 24 rounds because you reload 2 at a time, like individually. It takes forever. So we'll shoot a Rattler, not going to mitigate the recoil at all, and we'll show you what it does normally. Really not the most inaccurate gun, I would say. It's got, you know, a little side-to-side bounce, a little bit of vertical pull, but really no vertical pull. It's all just that side-to-side bounce. So again, we put a Compensator 2. Now, if you wanted to go full balls to the wall, feel free to put a Compensator 3, but if you're bringing a level 4 Rattler, you're probably just dicking around and just try not to lose anything super expensive. So we stick with a Compensator 2 for the Rattler. Only going to be a 40% per shot and a 20% max shot. But on the Rattler, it's actually pretty damn good. We will put an angle grip 2 here because if you want to ball out again, you can go with angle grip 3, but I think just angle grip 2 because if you're using a Rattler, you could, if you want to pimp it out, put angle grip 3 on and a Compensator 3. That shit is fire, but for general purpose Rattler uses, if you're using this gun, it's probably because you just want to bring something to have some fun with and you really don't care if you die and lose it, but the padded stock is going on this bad boy. And now you're going to see what happens to a Rattler when we have a Compensator and an angle grip on it. First, I'm not going to mitigate for the recoil. Oh my god, that, my friends, is a pretty accurate gun. And now, if I mitigate for the recoil, you at 20 meters, you should have no trouble hitting shots. And at 40 meters, I'm pretty sure we're still hitting all the shots. This is good, man. Like, if the Rattler just had a little bit of a buff to the reload speed, or maybe just made the mag a little better, or if they switched it to where it's just like a mag swap, this gun would 100% be better. But this is by no means a bad gun, especially for a cheap option. If you're just trying to dick around, the Rattler, pretty solid against arc. So, I mean, it's decent against arc, decent against people, but it will surprise you at how good this is at PvP and how accurate it is when you put a padded stock and a Compensator on it. Like, let's look at this. Oh my god, we're still hitting most of our shots at 40 meters. We did get a little bit of a dispersion. If you have a comp 3 and an angle grip 3, this thing will be a actual beamer. Actually, let's do that for fun. We do have a comp 3. We'll put this comp 3 on for shits and giggles, and we'll put a horizontal grip. We'll see how godly we can get this recoil with the best attachments. Oh my god, that's a goddamn fucking assault rifle sniper right there. Holy shit. So if you want to ball out and put all these epic attachments on a Rattler, I mean, hey, who am I to dog on your fun? Over there, it's a little bit further out, a little bit of smaller target, a little bit harder, but like a body right here. Like, oh my god, that's a lot of fun. But for your everyday general purpose uses, I'd say a comp 2, angle grip 2, and a padded stock is perfect for the Rattler. Let's go on to the Apregio. We need more ammo. Just guzzling through all the ammo, guys. Just guzzling through it all. I leave a suppressor here? I don't remember. All right, the Apregio, another underdog that the community sleeps on, but it really is a shitload of fun. So for the Apregio, the issue with the Apregio is, take these attachments off here. It's going to be the bloom predominantly, so we'll leave the mag on. But basically, when you shoot the Apregio at level 4, when you level up to 4, you will get 60% increased fire rate and 50% reload times. Please upgrade your Apregio to level 4. Do not bring an Apregio 1 into a raid ever. That's just a crime against humanity, and it's pointless. You might as well save this gun for when you have the resources to level it up, because it really needs to be leveled up to actually be as big a threat as it is. And this community sleeps on this gun, but it's actually a really good gun, really fun to use. I love the Apregio, and actually I have 2 right now because I keep losing them all. I keep bringing out bougie-ass Arpeggios and losing them, but hey, I'm having fun. That's all that matters. So basically, what I said about the bloom, we're going to shoot this gun as fast as we can. And as you can see, I'm trying not to pull down. We do have a bit of an incline pull, but that bloom gets ridiculous. So if I'm trying to stay on target right now, after my first couple of shots, you can see, because I have that big old bloom and my dispersions all over the place, normally, if you have it as tight as possible, it's just all vertical bounce, not really any side-to-side recoil on the Apregio. But whenever you get that bloom, like I said, the shots can go anywhere in that bloom, you will see more side-to-side bounce, and it will be way less accurate. So after like 2 or 3 shots, our bloom's maxed out, so this gun becomes really inaccurate. But attachments save this gun. So we were okay with the Compensator 2 for Rattlers, but for the Apregio 3, go big or go home. You definitely want as much dispersion reduction as possible. We have a vertical pull on that, so we're putting the vertical grip on for 30% more vertical recoil, and then the padded stock, which is going to give us vertical and horizontal, which will come into clutch whenever we do have our dispersion increase for that side-to-side bounce, but also 20% more per shot dispersion. So now it turns this gun that kind of just bloomed really big and shooting all over the place into a god damn Swiss Army life laser. Oh my god. I was compensating for the recoil, but I'll show you without compensating. You can see we're basically just going straight up, and I'm spamming as hard as I can, and it's still having trouble with that bloom getting nice and big. So with this Apregio, oh my god, you are accurate. You can be surgical with this, and the Apregio has a pretty good headshot multiplier, so it's like 5 shots to the body to kill people normally on the Apregio. But if you get a couple headshots in there, like if I'm trying to beam this guy's head off, like you can see most of the bullets will connect and the burst will be tight enough, especially like within 20 meters. Even further, you can try and get headshots. But if you can get headshots, get 3 good headshot bursts, 3 shots is enough to down a player. And you can even see, like, let's go back to like 40 meters. And even at 40 meters standing, not bad. And if we crouch, oh, I need ammo. Oh god, I need ammo. All these guns just guzzle through ammo. But you can see at 40 meters, even if we're crouching, yeah, it's getting deleted. Anything within 40 meters. And honestly, up to 50, 60 meters, this gun's still okay. So this really puts a good amount of range on Apregio and makes it really good at like mid-range combat, even close-range combat. Like I've actually done a little hip-shotting Arpeggios. Like low-key, you can hip-fire with this gun when you have these attachments on. Like if someone's too close to you, you don't really have time to like ADS, and you probably don't want to be ADSing. But if they're like within like this time frame, like here, like you can just do this and you can get away with it. It's really not terrible, guys. Like in a shitty situation, if you don't have another better close range option, like honestly with the Apregio, I usually pair it with like a Burletta for that fast weapon swap, because we do have, it takes quite a while because this is 20% increase equip time and 20% increase unequipped time. So for the weapon swapping, I would usually have like, I probably wouldn't use a Stitcher with the Padastock because that weapon swap is kind of slow. But if someone just dives you or you need follow-up shots, just pull out the Burletta. I love the Burletta as a secondary. It's a really fast weapon swap weapon and really good for those situations. But honestly, from someone who's used this gun probably way more than anybody should, you'd be surprised at what you can get away with hip firing. Like, it's really not bad, guys. It's really not bad. Like, I'm not telling you you need to just be doing this all the time, but if you're in a fucking pinch, like, I have done this and gotten away with it, like, so many times. I'm just like, oh shit, they're on me. It's actually kind of satisfying. So let's go on to the next gun here, and the last assault rifle is going to be the Kettle, which is an assault rifle, fun fact. All right, so believe it or not, the attachments I have on this aren't actually my recommended build for this video. I just wanted to bring an extended barrel in to show you. So with the Kettle, when you increase to level 4, you will get that 40% reduced reload time, which is huge for the Kettle because the reload is slow. It's almost like 4 seconds without this buff, and when you get it, it's like down to 2. More or less, it's like 2 point something, but it really is noticeable, and you don't want to be reloading a Kettle because that takes forever. But upgrading to level 4 will also increase your bullet velocity because it does have a low bullet velocity innately. It's pretty accurate. But where it struggles is the bullet velocity and hitting shots at range. Now, that being said, how do you want to build out your Kettle? Well, this right here. All right, so this is one of those guns. Like with a lot of guns, there's some build variety. With the Kettle, there's a little build variety. But as far as the stock, mag, and the underbarrel go, it should always be these threes because basically, like the Kettle is already a pretty accurate gun. I'll take off the recoil adjusting items real quick, and I'll just show you how the Kettle fires. Like, as you can see, dispersion isn't bad. We do, once it gets up there, there's a little bit of side-to-side bounce and a little bit of horizontal recoil. But the main thing with this is that the dispersion stays pretty tight. I'm mitigating for the recoil. And then once it blooms up, you get more side-to-side bounce. So you might be thinking like, oh, you need to build this out with the compensator. But actually, you don't even need the compensator because now we're going to explain what the stable stock actually does. Stable stock 3 and stable stock 2, stable stock 1 to lesser degrees, it gives you a 50% reduced recoil recovery time. What does that mean? It means when I'm shooting my gun, when I shoot my shot, as you see, we had a small little bounce, but basically it reduces the time it takes to go back to center. So let me spam, and as you can see, I recentered pretty quickly. Spam, recenter, spam, resetter. So not only does the stock make us recenter quicker, which is actually really, it happens right after you fire your shot. So for a gun that you just keep spamming, it really helps you stay on track super quick. So as you can see, it really pulls down on that climb because we're recentering. It's not technically taking away vertical recoil, but because we're recenter so quick, it is taking away the vertical recoil. Not that there is much on the Kettle to begin with, but as you can see, even with this, we are still climbing upwards, but there's really not any more side-to-side bounce. Like, where's that horizontal recoil? It's not going to come until we get that bloom all the way. And that's the magic that you just saw happen. We never got a huge ass bloom even spamming this gun. It stayed tight. And because it stayed tight, there was no side-to-side wall on the Kettle. It's literally just the upward climb that I'm pulling down to mitigate for. So a stable stock 3 is all you need to make this gun a goddamn laser. You don't need no angle grip. You don't need no compensator. You don't need no muzzle brake. If you have a stable stock 2, that's the next best thing. But a stable stock 3 turns this into a goddamn laser. And because there was still a little bit of that vertical pull, we put a vertical grip on it. And because the barrel slot doesn't really matter, we don't need a compensator, we don't need a muzzle brake, we can put a suppressor on if we want to keep it silent. Like, I call this the super circle build, the Squirtle build. This is like the 3 blues and the green. Once you start using a Kettle like this, like, oh, you just don't go back. You don't go back. Like, look at this. By the way, I'm not even crouched. If I crouch, it's even more accurate. Put a vertical grip on there, and as you can see, the stock, because we have the stable stock, there is no longer side-to-side bounce on this gun. Because it is one of those guns that fires and then fires again, but there's a small pause to recenter, the stable stock gets rid of that recoil. Kind of an interesting thing with the weapons. Like the full auto weapons, like a stable stock isn't going to do anything on a full auto gun because you don't have that recenter time. So putting it on one of like our other guns, like the Rattler or the Apregio, isn't going to do anything, or even the Bettina. because it's just nonstop firing. But for guns that are semi-automatic that you have to take the little pauses between, the stable stock is an excellent option. So even here, like 40 meters, goddamn, like, look at this. It's a goddamn laser, guys. Like, if you're looking for a cheap option that's just really accurate, good for close, mid, and long range. Oh, close and mid range. Look no further than the Kettle. Like, I'm not shooting inaccurate shots. I'm just actually missing because my aim is genuinely bad. But at this shots, wherever... Oh, God. Oh my God. Oh, my God. How many meters is that? 80? No, it's not 80 meters. Okay, 50 meters. Yeah, this makes the Kettle an absolute beamer. But for shits and giggles, like I said, the extended barrel here, for most guns, not good. It increases your bullet velocity. It does increase your vertical recoil by 15%. Still viable for the Kettle. If you want a Kettle that has more bullet velocity, like you can hit shots out of range a lot quicker, I guess you can see it's still not the best, but you'll be way more accurate at those long range shots. And also, still pretty damn accurate. A little bit more of a vertical pull, but this version of the Kettle, if you want to actually take this gun and like use it and just meme around and try to beam people at like 90 meters, put an extended barrel on. But if you're just fighting within 50 meters, lose the extended barrel, keep the suppressor. And honestly, that's where you should be fighting. But if you want to have some fun for shits and giggles, I recommend the extended barrel on the Kettle, just because the bullet velocity change is noticeable. So let me shoot like way out there. You can see, there's my travel time. Oh, God. Yo, I'm pretty sure the game heard me hyping up the extended barrel for a second and was like, get the fuck off, we're not having that, and just killed me. Anyways, I will have to really load the guns up from this point onwards because we just logged back in. But like I was saying, like, the Kettle without the extended barrel, as you can see, a little bit of a travel time. And then you put the extended barrel on and noticeably quicker. So if you're really trying to hit shots like way the fuck out there, you know, then the recoil becomes a little bit more of an issue and it's a little harder to hit, but your shots can land. And honestly, still a really fucking for a semi-auto gun that's not built for range, is actually pretty good. Like, you can shit around on some people. You probably miss a couple of shots at that range, but literally extended barrel is just for fun, man. Use it for fun if you want. And it's one of the few guns I put an extended barrel on just for shits and gigs. Moving on. Shotguns. Volcano and the El Toro. All right, so for the Volcano, if you're going to bring out a Volcano, do you level this up to level 4? It will increase your fire rate by 30%, which is huge on the Volcano, and also 40% reduction in reload time is always nice. Now for the shotguns, both of them included, the two biggest attachment slots that are going to affect the impact of your shotgun are the choke. So you want to do the best choke as possible. Choke 3 ideally, but choke 2 is fine. If you have to pick between a choke 3 or a mag 3, go with the choke 3. Mag 3s are great for both of these shotguns for the extra 6 rounds, but if you can only afford a mag 2, honestly, it's not the end of the world. I like to save my bigger mags for my full auto guns, like mag 3 on the Stitcher, mag 3 on the Tempest, mag 3 on the Arpeggios and the Bobcats, like your full send guns, but having 2 less shots on a shotgun isn't going to really be too noticeable. So if you have to pick between a mag 3 for a full auto gun versus either of these shotguns, just put the mag 2 on. Now, for the recoil, so for the stocks, none of the stocks really do much. The stable stock is actually useless here. I didn't know this about the stocks when I was building all these guns. So I have stable stocks on a bunch of shotguns, but literally the stable stock isn't going to affect how this gun performs at all. The main thing is the choke. As you can see here, we'll take everything off. You can see like that big circle right here, that's our dispersion. So when we shoot, the pellets are going to fire somewhere within that massive circle. And if we just fall out of the Volcano, you can see we have a bit of an incline jump and a side-to-side bounce. So technically, you could probably put an horizontal grip on this, it'd be okay, but really you don't need it, because when you're shooting a shotgun, you usually have time to recenter and keep your aimer on target, because there's those pauses between the shots. So really, recoil control isn't that big of a deal here, because it's not too hard to just keep recentering your shots between shots. But now, since we do have a little bit of vertical pull, we'll just put a vertical grip 2 on. You don't really need this. You can put a vert grip 1. You can put no grip. A vert grip 2, though, because there is a little bit of a jump with the shotguns, but the choke is the big one. As you can see, with this choke, our spread is significantly tighter without the choke. Yeah, there we go. That was a glitch. So now it's without the choke. Put our choke back on. It's literally glitching out. Okay, but that's what it looks like with the choke on. As you can see, way more accurate and a little bit less of a jump. So you could just run around like the Volcano's full on. Like you literally just, you can hip fire this bad boy. You can ADS this bad boy. When you're using a Volcano, you want to just be getting up in people's face and just ruining their day. It has an extremely fast time to kill. It's going to basically be like the king of really close range. But the El Toro is also a very, both the shotguns are good at what they do. Anything in close range, like within like 10 meters, a little bit closer, maybe like within 8 meters, you got a shotgun versus anything else, you're not losing that fight. Shotguns are crazy, but as far as decking them out and building them, they're probably one of the easier guns. You don't really need a stock, but the one stock you could put on a Volcano would be the lightweight stock, and the main reason for that is just for the much faster weapon equip time, getting rid of your weapon. As you can see, it's super fast. Like the Volcano, you could get away with, put away really quick with the lightweight stock. And basically, it's just to pull it out quicker. You will have more of an inclined bounce because that stock does increase your vertical recoil. But it makes you zoom in way quicker, and also it makes you just have really fast weapon swap, because usually if you have a primary like an assault rifle or something that's a bit slower for your mid and long range engagements, and the Volcano for close range, you want to be able to bring out your shotgun as quickly as possible. Like, oh shit, someone came around the corner, boom, Volcano out. And that's why I would say if you are going to put a stock on the shotguns, ball out with a lightweight stock. I don't really like it as much on the Volcano as I do like it on the El Toro, which we'll talk about next. Same thing applies for the El Toro. Let me take off these attachments, kind of show you what that looks like with nothing on it. As you can see, the El Toro, bit of a dispersion, and then basically shooting it every shot. It's just going to go straight up. You do got a bit of a pause between shots. You do want to get this up to level 4. Increasing it to level 4 will increase your fire rate by 50%. Also, no, I don't think that impacts your mag size. Just increase your fire rate by 50%. But you want to put as big a mag as you can on the El Toro. Again, you want to put the biggest choke you can. Vertical grip with the El Toro. I like it more here than on the Volcano. On the Volcano, you could probably just get away with putting like a grip or digging around the horizontal grip because there's that little bit side-to-side bounce. But like I said, you're going to be recentering your aimer between shots anyways, so really the recoil's not the big a deal. But I like to put a vertical grip on a El Toro, especially if I'm using the lightweight stock. And as you can see, it does make our spread significantly tighter. And the El Toro actually has a little bit more range than the Volcano. Like the Volcano, I'd say like within 8 meters, you want to be shooting it because it has more of a dispersion and it shoots so goddamn fast. But with the Volcano, the El Toro, you can take some shots at a little bit of a further range than you would have expected. I'm not going to say go shoot people at 20 meters or 30 meters. I mean, you will hit some pellets, but like I said, like you want all your pellets to connect to get max damage. And if you do get max damage with an El Toro, it is 2 shots. Fun fact. Headshot multipliers don't matter with the shotguns, but it is 2 shots to the body, so just aim for the body with shotguns, and it's 2 shots to small, medium, or heavy shield users. So that's another fun fact of El Toro. Like when it comes to close range, like within 10 meters, Volcano, El Toro, they're shotguns. They do what shotguns do. They are unparalleled. I recommend the El Toro for PvP mostly, but honestly, for shredders, fun fact about the El Toro. The El Toro is pretty damn good at dealing with shredders. And because shredders drop like 16 rounds of shotgun ammo whenever, like if you're on Stella with an El Toro, you don't need to be pussyfooting around shredders. If they're up in your business and it's safe to kill them without getting third-partied, just kill them with your El Toro and then just take the damn shotgun ammo off the shredder, and then you end up with more ammo than you lost. Basically, you're just using a little durability, and it won't take you more than like 10, 12 shots, I think, to kill a shredder, assuming you're hitting it like in the thrusters and not just like flat on in the armor. But yeah, fun fact. Pretty solid gun for PvE versus shredders, but in general, just PvP for the El Toro. And then the Volcano also, honestly, solid all-around gun. You can use this for art, you can use this for people. It's pretty good, assuming you're just hitting the weak spots on arcs and just loading up in them with the Volcano. You can do heavy damage. If you get like in a Bastion's ass or start shooting a Bastion's core with the Volcano, you can rip them up in seconds. Including the LMG here in the shotgun category, because there really is only one LMG in the game, and it is El Torrente here, the big dog, with the slow reload time, even at level 4. But getting this to level 4 is going to reduce that reload time by 45%, which, as you can see, is absolutely necessary because that was already a long-ass time. Without getting to level 4, yeah, this is reload time's abysmal. But your default mag on the Torrente is crazy, so really, you don't even need to put a mag. Like, it's already 90 rounds. You can put an extended mag 2 or extended mag 3 for the 12 extra shots, but it's not really going to make too big a difference on your Torrente because you have already shitload in the tank. So this is the lowest priority on a Torrente. If you leave it blank, not the end of the world. If you put a mag 1 in it, it's 4 extra bullets, mag 2 for 8, or if you want the 12 extra, if you just want to ball out with the mag 3 for some reason, that's fine. But I probably wouldn't put a mag 3 on the Torrente just because I'd rather have those extra bullets on a different gun, like a Tempest, like a Venator. But the Torrente, let's take off these attachments and we'll show you what this bad boy looks like. Huge circle, huge dispersion area, but it literally, oh, let me not mitigate the recoil, sorry. As you can see, it kind of just lasers left, right, and straight up. So this gun has a ton of recoil on it. But the main issue, like I said, is the dispersion. So if we can tighten up the dispersion, we can make the Torrente a little better. And also, fun fact, like I said, with crouching, this is one of the guns you really do want to be crouch firing. I know even in like close range, you're like, why would I crouch? But this does tighten up your dispersion significantly. So then it's just our dispersion getting bigger and our vertical climb on this gun. So I like to build it out with a padded stock. It's going to give us 15% horizontal and vertical reduction and a little bit of per shot reduction. But then also I want the comp 3 because I want to reduce the max shot dispersion as much as possible. I saw a video saying there wasn't too much difference between comp 3 and a comp 2. But honestly, this dispersion, even with the comp 3, it's still pretty big. But at least now we can shoot at things at like 15 meters without it just feeling super awkward. And it can be relatively on target. This gun is just, this is to spray. This is to be a god in PvP. If you want to just waste a shit ton of ammo to bring down some arc in PvE, it can be fun for that too. But I would highly recommend never bring just a Torrente. You always want a secondary because like if someone's peeking corners, I'm not going to be doing shit if someone's popping their head out from like behind cover. You need a gun that you can single shot. You need something that's accurate and something to deal with the arc. Like you don't want to be wasting Torrente ammo dealing with arcs. Like when you have this gun, bring 6 clips of ammo and you probably still won't have enough. Like you will go through ammo so quick on a damn Torrente. So bring a gun like an Anvil is an excellent choice for a secondary. Just something with a single shot fire. So if someone's peeking you around corners, you can like shoot them. Also, you want something for range. The Anvil is decent for range, and you want something to deal with the arc. So the Anvil covers it all. I mean, you could get away with something like the Kettle or something that's just accurate, like a Burletta. You will struggle a little bit with the arc, though. So I would say definitely with the Torrente, the probably best secondary for a Torrente is an Anvil, in my opinion, just because you can use the Anvil for range, precision shots. Like if someone's peeking past a corner and you just have a split second to try to hit them, you can, use, assuming I'm behind cover too, you can use the Anvil for those little corner peeking fights. And then the Torrente, whenever you get someone out in the open, you can just wail on them. But as you can see, even with the padded stock and the Compensator 3, we still have a pretty damn big dispersion. Like I'll shoot once without adjusting for the recoil. Significantly tighter with the Comp 3 and a padded stock, and if we're trying to stay on target, not bad at all. Also, just spraying a Torrente is so satisfying. Highly recommend if you're bringing a Torrente, bring the tactical MK2 augment, just because that will deploy a smoke at your feet whenever your shield breaks. So if your shield breaks, the smoke deploys at your feet. You can just keep spraying. You might not see them because the smoke's blinding you too while it's covering you, but you have more ammo in your tank compared to any other gun, so you can get away with just fucking letting loose. That reminds me of that scene from Predator. Just, when they're all shooting into the jungle. Yeah, Torrente. This gun will destroy some people, but just be aware of its weaknesses. Like, you're not going to win poke fights. It sucks for range. It's not efficient for arc, but you can outright just fucking mow people down who are caught out in the open with a Torrente, and it feels good when you do so. So now we'll move on to the battle rifles and the snipers. Need ammo, bros. I need more ammo. I gotta load these guns because the game killed me. If you made it this far to the video, please smash that like button. If you're learning stuff, comment down. Let me know what you learned. And then keep paying attention. And then at the end of the video, let me know what your favorite lesson was, guys. Let me know, because I do want to know. I do want to know. All right, the Renegade. Very similar into the Kettle because it is a semi-auto rifle. So basically, upgrading this gives you a 75% increased fire rate. So again, this is another one of those classic examples where if you just have the stable stock 3, you don't need a muzzle brake. You don't need a compensator. You can put on a suppressor. You can put on the extended barrel. But basically with the Renegade, since it's a single shot, I'm going to shoot it without any adjusting up for the recoil. You can see I have a shot. And like, you know, it looks like I have a little side-to-side bounce, but in reality, if my circle's tight, that bullet's going wherever it is. It's just the big issues here is like it takes a little while for us to recenter, and it takes a little while for our circle to tighten, basically. That's like the issue here. So if I'm shooting at max fire rate, kind of just going straight up with a little bit of a side-to-side wobble. But now, when we do the padded stock, you're going to see a very similar thing like with the Kettle. Turns this into a goddamn beamer. No recoil attachment, just a paddock stock. As you can see, our recenter is so much faster. We do still have a little bit of a vertical climb, but we're essentially resetting quick enough that we stay on target. So now we don't have to worry about a compensator. We don't have to worry about a muzzle brake. Like basically every Renegade is best suppressor I can afford, best mag I can afford. You don't really need the mag 3. A mag 2 is plenty for the Renegade. But the stable stock, if you have to pick one attachment to get to level 3 for this gun to perform, you want the best stable stock you can. If you don't have this, stable stock 2 is fine. But the stable stock 3, it really is noticeable how fast you just recenter and get back on target. Like, if you have this, you should not be missing your shots. Even at range, you're not going to have trouble. You could put a compensator on if you want to get a little tighter, but really, like, as you can see, our circle ADS is so quickly. Like, you could get that to be more tighter. If you really want to use this for beaming at, like, far range, you can put a compensator and make that circle even smaller, but it's already freaking small. Like, you're really, like, I'm missing because I'm bad. I'm not missing because my gun is inaccurate, okay? Let me clarify that. I'm missing because I'm not shooting at the thing, but wherever you aim with this, and then if you want to tighten up, you can just crouch. And like I said, we recenter so quick. It's so easy to stay on target whenever you build it out with the stable stock. But again, another one of those examples of guns where the stable stock just does wonder for it, and the other attachments, you know, not going to change it too much, but I would recommend suppressing since you're probably shooting the Renegade out in the open. The Osprey! Only one way to build this bad boy out. One of the guns where the underbarrel will literally do nothing, because when you shoot an Osprey, you have to un-ADS and re-zoom in to rechamber your shot. You will always be able to adjust for any vertical or side-to-side recoil. It's hard to even see what kind of recoil the Osprey even has on it. So underbarrel slot's completely useless for the gun because you have to do the rechamber thing. Also very useless for the Ferro too, fun fact. So it's one of the slots you don't have to worry about underbarrel, but if you do find an underbarrel while looting in the field, feel free to put it on your Osprey to save a slot for sweet, sweet loot, and then put that on another gun. You want the best suppressor you can put for an Osprey, because again, you're going to be out in the open shooting it. Stock's optional here. I do like the lightweight stock with the Osprey. Well, you don't benefit from the 200% increased ADS speed because, I don't know, it's weird because it's like you're scoping in. Like if I take this off, you'll see it shouldn't really affect the zoom in time all too much. And as soon as if you're like trying to just pop shot people with the Osprey, you can literally just get on center and you don't even have to fully ADS your thing. So you can do like a little bit of quick scoping with this. Like as long as your reticle is, you see my little inner circle? As long as that's on when I start to aim, I technically, like if I just like shoot it like this, it won't be as accurate. I'm still hitting it. Actually, ooh, let's test a theory here. Can I hit that guy just, yeah, as you can see, it's not going to hit the shot here, but if I ADS a little bit, we're on target every time. We don't even have to fully ADS, guys. That's something you can be doing with the Osprey. So if you were trying to maximize your efficiency, you don't even have to wait to fully scope. As long as your middle reticle is on the target whenever you're starting to ADS, you will hit that target every time. So it's kind of a way of like maxing your Osprey and like just maxing how fast you can shoot it. You don't even have to wait for it to fully ADS. You can just get on target a little bit and shoot the bullet. As long as that center reticle is lined up where you want it, that's where the bullet's going to go. But if you're shooting from the hip, there is going to be that random ass unpredictable sway. But if you ADS a little bit, doesn't matter. We're hitting it. We're hitting it, boys. And then the lightweight stock, like I said, well, it doesn't help that ADS. It's really nice on a sniper because whenever you have your other gun, you can just pull out your Osprey, oh, take a little pop shot, someone's at range, boom. Like, that's a slow example because the Renegade is a slow weapon swap with the stable stock 3, but basically, you can do that, and then you can put the Osprey up quicker just to bring out your primary gun again. So I like using the Osprey with like a Stitcher, or Burletta. I even use it with the Tempest. Venator is my favorite secondary for the Osprey because it's a pistol. It's a really fast weapon swap, so you can just, you know, get your range shots off with the Osprey. Come to the practice range, kind of practice doing those little like tap shots where you're not fully ADSing and you're just making sure your middle reticle is lined up, and you will shoot it before you even have to wait for this. But if you also want to snipe like that too, hey man, I do this all the time too. It's fun. You know, just It's nice to have a gun with the scope. The only gun with the scope in the game, guys, right here. Love the Osprey. Underrated sniper. People should use it, and it is only 3 shots to kill if you do hit all headshots. But like I said, if you're using the Osprey, you're probably just using it to fuck with people. And hey, man, more power to you. Now we'll go on to the last one here, the Ferro. Again, honestly, with the Ferro, not really much we can do here. Underbarrels aren't going to do anything, because when you shoot a Ferro, you have to reload and then get on target again. However, this one does really benefit from the lightweight stock because we get a much quicker ADS speed. So as you can see, without the lightweight stock, also level this up to 4. And your Osprey too. Osprey, level 4 because you get 60% reduced bolt action time. So basically 60% faster fire rate for your Osprey. And a buff to your reload time as well. Same thing with the Renegade. I don't think I talked about this. This one just increases the fire rate. No, I did talk about that one. But the Ferro, when you get it to level 4, it's a dirt cheap gun, guys. You probably fell in love with it because it was so efficient at dealing with the arc at the beginning of the game. But then you probably stopped using it. But the next version of the Ferro, when you've advanced more in this game, is the Ferro with the lightweight stock. So get this to level 4 because this will reduce your reload time by 39%, which is noticeable on the Ferro because as you can see, even with right now, like, the 40% reload, it's a lot faster, but imagine that being 40% longer. It's horrible. But without the lightweight stock, it takes a little bit of time to get on center. And then our weapon swap with this, like with the Ferro, how you want to be using this gun, it's really good for PvE, but it's decent for PvP too. Like you want to basically just get on target, do a quick pop shot, and then switch to your secondary. A Burletta is a perfect secondary for this gun because you could just go pop, swap, and then there's no ammo in it. All right, hold on. Basically, the Ferro playstyle is, and you can get shots at like range with the Ferro, guys. Like, you don't have to limit yourself to like close range encounters, but I like using this bad boy. That was just bad aim. Basically, it's like hit, pull out your secondary gun, and then just beam. I love using a fucking Burletta as my secondary with the Ferro because you hit with the Ferro, break their shield if they're a light shield user, or get the first hit with the Ferro. They peek a corner, pop out that Burletta, and then just finish the job. It's like a 1-2 punch combo. I mean, if you want, you could play around corners and just try to get all the kills and the downs with the Ferro, but really, your main advantage is that you hit hard. 40 rounds for a shot, insta-break on light shielders. Like, you want to be getting the first shot off with the Ferro, and then switch to a much faster secondary like the Burletta. Venator would be good here, and then you want to just beam. That's what you want to do with the Ferro, guys. But yeah, like I said, lightweight stock, faster ADS, faster weapon swap, really changes how this weapon feels. Like, look how fast you can scope, and you can scope and get your shot, and then boom, swap. Or just go in for another reload and hit again. Like you can see, it's one of the this loadout, like right here, Ferro with the Burletta. We haven't talked about Burletta yet, but this feels just fluid and beautiful, guys. Like this is one of those like cheap budget loadouts you can go and just, you feel like you just want to use it all the time because it's good. The Ferro is good for dealing with the arc. It deals heavy round. It's good for that 1-2 punch, shield break a player, and then pull out their Burlettas to finish the job. If you haven't used a Ferro with the lightweight stock, you are missing out because it absolutely transforms how consistent and good this weapon is. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, let's move on. SMGs, and then we'll talk about the pistols and this lovely Burletta here in a second. All right, we're on to the SMGs. I had to take a little break, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking for a long time, and if you're still here in this video, man, I just want you to know you're a fucking G, and I love you. But let's finish out the SMGs and the pistols and round out this video and get ready for the reset in a couple of days. So the SMGs, the Stitcher and the Bobcat, going to be very similar setups for both of these, but we'll start with the Stitcher. So the Stitcher, yeah, oh, good old Stitcher. Let me get some more light ammo because we're about to guzzle through all this ammo here, boys. We're going to be guzzling here in a second. So the Stitcher, the Stitcher, one of the cheapest guns in the game, very good at PvP. Why use a Bobcat when you can use a Stitcher? Well, the Bobcat is a little bit better. We'll talk about that in a bit, but we'll show you how the Stitcher looks just as is, just firing at nothing. As you see, a little bit of dispersion, a little bit of a side-to-side bounce. Not too difficult to stay on target, but we definitely are missing some shots, and if I want to shoot something farther out there, like, well, I'm going to show you this real quick. Like, shoot it at 40 meters, and we'll just see how bad this is. Like, you're not going to hit things out here. Oh my god, we're literally... Yeah, we hit like fucking 3 bullets, maybe 7. So yeah, it's not a gun for range, but it is a gun for close quarters. Upgrading it to level 4 will reduce the horizontal recoil by 50%. So if your Stitcher's not level 4, imagine that recoil just way worse. But now the magic, guys. As you saw, we had some dispersion, we had some side-to-side bounce, and a little bit of incline pull, but the incline pull is the easiest to mitigate for. So a beautiful thing happens to the Stitcher when you put a compensator on to reduce the dispersion, the max shot dispersion. We've talked about that. And angle grip 2 for 30% more side-to-side recoil control, because that one is harder to control for. But right here, the padded stock, I talked to this attachment up earlier in this video. Oh my god, you put this on a Stitcher. Oh, well, 50% more vertical and horizontal recoil and per shot dispersion. Let's see what happens now. I'm going to shoot this without mitigating for the recoil, and I'm just going to stand and shoot. Oh, as you can see, that shit is tight, and it's literally just straight up. So it makes this recoil pattern insanely easy to control. Anything within 20 meters, you are melting them. Always put the biggest mag you can on a Stitcher. This is one of those guns I like a 35 round mag on if I can afford it. A 30 round mag will still be okay, but please don't have the default because it's not enough bullets. You want as many rounds in a Stitcher as you can possible. And the same is true for the Bobcat here. But when you put the padded stock on, oh my guys, oh my, and then I wasn't even crouching. If I crouch, why is this a laser beam? Why is this Stitcher so accurate? Is this an assault rifle Stitcher? I don't know. It might be. Let's take a 40-meter shot while standing, and we'll see how.
Target dummy.
Let's go to 40 meters. Let's see how accurate we could be just standing shooting at 40 meters. Significantly better than no attachments. And then if we're crouching, guys, why the Stitcher should not be doing this, but let me show you what the Stitcher does. God damn, I don't care. I'm not a long range weapon. I'm still gonna beam. Oh my god, dude, you put a padded stock on the Stitcher, it's really accurate. I don't think we're gonna beam at 40 meters with the Bobcat because the recoil's a little bit more wild on the Bobcat, but we'll test it out here in a second. But guys, that's what this happens to Stitcher if you equip it this way. And then again, kind of the same thing. If you have a Comp 3 and you want to ball out with the Comp 3 Angle Grip 3, feel free to. It's only going to be way more accurate than that. But honestly, those results we're getting for 2 greens and a Epic, that's plenty. Like, you're not going to even be wanting to shoot a Stitcher at 40 meters. I'm just showing you that if you did want to, you could, if you have the right attachments on your guns. But again, like if you're using a Stitcher, you're probably using it because it's a cost-efficient, cheap item versus the Bobcat. So we're sticking with the green attachments, and I think the green attachments are just fine here. I don't feel like I need to go to a Comp 3 or an Angle Grip 3 because that feels so damn accurate already. If you want to have the resources, feel free, ball out. You're going to have the most ungodly level Stitcher ever, but this as an all-arounder, perfect. And if you can't craft padded stocks, you can buy one of them per day from Taiwan in the shop, by the way, for 1,500 coin. And I do buy one every single day, which is why I have all padded stocks on all the guns I like padded stocks on, because I'm bougie like that, guys. I'm bougie. I'm a little bougie, man. I've been playing this game a while. I got bougie tastes. But now we'll talk about the Bobcat. Take off all the attachments. And we'll show you guys the Bobcat, the Stitcher's bigger brother. That's way more expensive, but this thing does kill faster than the Stitcher, and it absolutely fries. But we'll show you that recoil. Kind of similar to Stitcher, but a lot more, I think, side-to-side bounce and vertical pull on this compared to the Stitcher. Upgrading this to level 4, please do. If you're going to bring out the Bobcat, if you're going to bring out an epic weapon, you might as well make it epic and deck it out with all the attachments and just live it up. Don't get it to level 4 and put basic ass attachments on it, or vice versa. Good attachments, but keeping it at level 1. Max out your guns. Either go big, go home, or go for the middle ground options we discussed, or just make it all cheap, you know? That's my hot take there. But getting this level 4 will reduce the max shot dispersion, which is helpful, and the horizontal recoil. But as you can see, we still had some pretty crazy recoil even with those buffs. But for the Bobcat, I like the padded stock. Again, we've talked about this. For the top, We said a Compensator 2 was good for the Stitcher, and that's kind of our low budget option. If we're trying to do the same thing at a much cheaper cost, let's go with the Stitcher with the Comp 2. You can put a Comp 2 on your Bobcat. It's not the end of the world, but my whole idea, if we're balling out and we're bringing a Bobcat, we might as well just deck the whole goddamn thing out. So we're going with the Comp 3 here, and I like using my angle grips. Like, I'm very picky with the horizontal grips. There's only like a few guns I use them on. The Bobcat's one of them because it's got that crazy recoil. Tempest on occasion if I want to build it with like a suppressor or a compensator, or like the Bettina, but those, like for the horizontal grip, those are only 3 guns I put that on personally. So if you have a horizontal grip, please put it on your Bobcat. If not, just use an angle grip or a vertical grip, whichever recoil pattern you struggle for. There's not one universal right way to build a gun. I'm just showing you guys the most efficient ways I've found that I've enjoyed overall. So if you're one of those people who like struggles with verticals, put a vertical grip, or vice versa if it's side-to-side bounce. But if you have the luxury of having a horizontal grip, put it on your Bobcat, and now we're going to shoot it without adjusting for the recoil. Oh, yeah, significantly better. Very similar thing happened this time that happened to our Stitcher when we put these attachments on. And like I said, they are very similar. Now, if we're trying to stay on target, 20 meters, go back a few. Not difficult at all. If anything, the hardest part was that little bit of a vertical climb. So if you didn't have a horizontal grip, I'd probably put a vertical grip on. But as you can see, we're dead on accurate. Even at 20 meters, we are absolutely frying. But however, compared to the Stitcher, we are going to struggle a little bit more at 40 meters. I'm really feeling that after using these weapons a lot in the field. I haven't actually tested this. I'm just telling you, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be nearly as light and day as it is with the Stitcher, but we'll try. We'll see. Oh. That's decent. It's decent. It's not good. We definitely had a bit of side-to-side bounce. We weren't hitting as many shots as the Stitcher. But still, for an inaccurate SMG at 40 meters, I'll take that. And now we'll do the crouch test. That's pretty accurate. It's mainly the vertical pull that I'm having a little bit of issue with. But we're hitting actually quite a few shots. Like, I'm not going to recommend you do this. If you wanted to try, it could be fun. I think at 30 meters, though, we'll probably do better. So the Bobcat, definitely more recoil. But like I said, it is more TTK and faster fire, which is probably why the recoil is crazier. So with the Stitch, you can kind of get away with that. The Bobcat, oh, at 30 meters, that feels good. Yeah, I'd say some 30-meter beaming with the Bobcat. But if you have the Stitcher built out this way, you definitely have it open to 40 meters for sure. But that's how I build out my Bobcats, guys. Keep that recoil tight. Ooh. Oh, even that hip fire. Oh, look at that Bobcat hip fire. Bobcat hip fire is low-key really tight, so you can run around and hip fire with this gun too. I think it's tighter than the Stitcher. Let's put the Stitcher back on for a second. And we'll see how that Stitcher... pretty comparable. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. These are great guns to hip fire with. I haven't been hip firing enough with these SMGs, honestly. I do a lot with the shotgun and my pistols, but I need to be hip firing more. Anyways, guys, we're learning something new every day. Let's go on to the pistols. We'll start with the Venator and then go on to the Anvil. So the Venator, good for PvP, holds its own in PvE. As far as attachments, you don't have much to work with. You have a mag and a grip. Without the grip, the recoil really isn't even that bad. We'll shoot it without compensating. For the most part, vertical is where it's most prominent, but there is a little bit of that side-to-side bounce. Like I said, vertical is easier for me to control. I prefer putting an angle grip on it. Let's see how it is. You'll still have that pull, but we're more in line for the most part. So if you struggle with the pull, then put a vertical grip on it. I think a vertical grip is completely acceptable for a Venator, especially since it's a 2-round burst upwards. I don't know if it tightens up your burst at all. I haven't done the testing for that, but it does for the Apregio, so I'd assume it's probably similar for the Venator. But then again, angle grip for that side-to-side bounce. But honestly, this is not a hard gun to compensate for on the recoil at all. Hip fire, bigger spread than we do with our SMGs. But all in all, just put on whatever grip for whatever recoil you struggle with the most on the Venator. And I like the angle grip and the biggest mag you can find. There's really not much to say about the Venator. It's basically like this is the build, or if you want to be fancy, go with the vertical grip instead of the angle grip 3 here. I do like angle grip 3s on the Venators. The Anvil, we'll talk about the splitter in a second. So the Anvil is a revolver that I need to put some ammo in. Very good gun for dealing with arc. If you're looking for just a cheap loadout and just one gun for all your PvE, PvP needs, look no further than the Anvil. Let's say if like most every gun we've talked about, besides maybe like the Tempest, but even with the Tempest, I'd probably bring like some kind of secondary, just that's more ammo efficient, or some seeker nades. Most every gun pairs well with some other gun, like, you know, your battle rifles and your snipers. You can bring like an SMG or an assault rifle with those. Your assault rifles, you can bring in a shotgun with those. Those are good setups. I probably wouldn't bring a sniper with a shotgun, but you could if you really wanted to. Your pistols, again, pistols with snipers or pistols with assault rifles are good. I wouldn't use a pistol with an SMG. I wouldn't use a shotgun with an SMG. Just general rules of loadout building. And then for the Torrente, we already talked about the Anvil's good secondary for that, for similar reasons, because we want something that's accurate that can deal with the arc. But the Anvil, 6 rounds, hits like a truck, 40 damage. It'll break someone with a light shield in 1 shot. You can get 2 headshots. You can kill basically anybody with the Anvil. So it rewards precision, but also it hits like a mother trucker against arc. Get this to level 4, please, for that max fire rate. Although I heard for maximum efficiency, as far as the recenter being on time with your Anvil reloading, keep it to level 3, but I actually fuck that. I just go for max fire rate. So I go up to level 4 because I like to shoot my Anvil as fast as possible, because it's a great gun for dealing with the arc. As far as attachments, there's really only the tech mod and the barrels mod. Shooting an Anvil like this is what it looks like. Pretty accurate gun, but multiple ways to build the Anvil. So in general, I would usually recommend, like, I usually put my suppressor 3s on the Anvil. It's a loud gun. And if I'm bringing it predominantly for PvE, I'm usually just trying to keep low profile. So I'll just put a suppressor 3 on the Anvil, and notice how quiet that gets. It's accurate. Granted, you know, if we run around, we have a huge bloom. I'm not going to hip fire with an Anvil. This is definitely a gun you need to aim. You don't want to run around a corner hip fire with this. You will not... Oh, I hit it. But most of the time, you will not hit your shots. Trust me. But as far as like aiming it, you know, wherever you aim, we can tighten up that circle if we put a compensator on. So basically, if I'm bringing this Anvil for PvE and dealing with arc, I highly recommend just decking it out with a suppressor. If I'm bringing a cheeky loadout where I'm trying to use like a combat flanking and I want 2 pistols, so I'll bring like a Burletta for my secondary close range option. And if I'm bringing an Anvil for a long range option, I'll put the extended barrel on the Anvil. This, if you want to be more of a sniper with your Anvil, because you will suffer with that bullet velocity at range. So as you can see, there's like, you know, a little bit of a bullet travel time. You can kind of notice it takes a while before the bullet gets there. We put on the extended barrel, and all of a sudden, not nearly as much travel time because we're shooting way faster. Also, haven't tested this, but I've noticed it through playing. Whenever I have extended barrel on the Anvil, the knockback I do to arc seems to be a lot more than it normally is. Like, they fly further back, and honestly that makes sense. A heavy velocity round traveling faster. So the devs knew what they were doing. It's kind of just like a fun ipso facto thing when you're shooting arc with an extended barrel Anvil. They will fly backwards. It's kind of funny. Not players though, but for this. But if you're trying to use an Anvil as like a sniper option, you want long range beaming, you want to be as precise as you can. You're not really worried about the vertical recoil debuff because, like I said, you have pauses between shots. So there's enough time to recenter, get on target, recenter, get on target. It's not going to really hurt you that much. So if you're using an Anvil for range because you have like a Burletta for your secondary, not the Kettle, that I Burletta equipped, go for the extended barrel. But if you're going for PvP, I would recommend the Compensator. Like I said, we had that bloom. Having a Compensator on is really going to help you run and gun and be on target a lot more. But granted, you really shouldn't be running and gunning with the Anvil. You should be like peeking corners with it. But this will help your spread get a lot tighter with the Compensator 3. Then if you crouch, you're definitely dead on accurate. Sniper, wherever you're aiming that cursor, that's where you're hitting. So if I'm in PvP, I'd probably put a Compensator 3 on, but even in PvP, I still do kind of prefer having the suppressor on my Anvil just to stay off the grid, because usually I use it for arc, but it is a fun gun for PvP as well, and hold its own in PvP. But now for the last spot, Compensator is mandatory if you do use the Anvil splitter. This will turn your shot into a burst shot. The bursts don't do as much damage, but you shoot more of them, so overall it is more damage. Basically, when you're putting this on, Compensator is mandatory. I would recommend a Comp 3 or a Comp 2, so whichever one you can, because again, your bloom is noticeably bigger. And since we're essentially a shotgun now, we have that burst. So like you can see here, And I think why people don't like the Anvil split, like you can two-tap people with this gun. It's crazy. But if you miss a single pellet, you're probably not getting the two-tap. So basically, this turns the Anvil into a gun you really want to be up close and personal with, and you want to be like getting all your shots off. Because you really want to burst them down. But if you're at range, you're going to struggle. Like, while the Anvil normally is decent at like all ranges, once you put that on, as you can see, we're having some bullets miss. Some of them are hitting. But a lot of them are missing, so this is why people shoot on the Anvil, because they're like, oh, I can't hit shots, I'm not hitting them. Unless you're just like within 10 meters, you're probably missing some shots. But what these people aren't doing with the splitter is what we talked about earlier, that crouch. And look what happens. Like, besides the Torrente, crouch, this is probably the second, this gun and the Torrente probably benefit the most from crouching. Because as soon as I crouch, this is what, almost 20 meters away? And I have an Anvil splitter, a very inaccurate Anvil splitter, by the way. As soon as I crouch, oh, look at that. All my shots will hit that body. They will connect. I can two-tap at this range. I just have to make sure I'm playing smart and crouch shotting. And then this gun, which has no business being used at long ranges, you can use at long ranges. At least up to 25 meters. I wouldn't go past that. Like, that seems to be our limit here. But that's better than trying to shoot someone at that range like this. Like, we're gonna miss a lot of bullets that way. But if we can crouch 25 meters, look at that. Why is this so accurate? Oh my god, I love this. God damn, I just want to kill everything with the splitter. Hold on, let me. Oh, just a few more, guys. I know you guys are enjoying this. Oh, satisfying. Oh, satisfying. Oh, you over there? Oh, I don't care. Oh, suddenly you can do some work on people. So highly recommend, if you're going to be using the splitter, really adopt this crouch shoot playstyle just so you can get that tight spread. Because you're going to notice a huge difference in performance. Like, people shit on the splitter, but the devs know what they're doing. It's just people aren't utilizing the crouch mechanic. Because when you do this gun is a goddamn monster. Yeah, I wish I find more splitters. I don't find them that often. And then the last gun, guys, the Burletta. Definitely the king of the sidearms, in my opinion, because it has the fastest weapon swap time. As in, like, if you have another primary gun out, we'll just say like that Osprey, for example. Like, look how fast. I have my Osprey with the lightweight stock. I can pull that out. Boom. Burletta. Already out. Already out. Oh, I pull my sniper out. Lightweight stock. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I like the lightweight stocks on these guns, because it makes for really fast weapon swap. But the Burletta has really fast weapon swap and the highest agility in the game, which basically means it has the fastest weapon swap. Shooting this at hip fire, not bad. At this range, you can be pretty accurate hip firing, just dancing around people. But it is 12 shots to kill in the Burletta, so you do want to aim for headshots, because it's 5 shots to kill for a headshot. So when you have a Burletta, just be thinking you want to try to be aiming for the heads. And even if you're just spamming it, actually, let's show the recoil pattern. There's only a mod slot and a mag slot, so I'll just shoot the Burletta normally. I got a little side-to-side bounce and a little vertical climb, but really it's nothing crazy. Like, you don't need a recoil attachment on this gun to control. Like, this is with nothing on. At 20 meters, I'm dead on with both my shots. So for the Burletta, there's 3 ways you can build it out. One, if you're like rocking like a Ferro and you are just straight up just like trying to like meme and just find another gun for the extended barrel. Like I said, the Burletta is another one of those guns that has low bullet velocity. Super obvious. We shoot out range. You can see there's that travel time. You put a barrel on, all of a sudden, a lot quicker. Now, I'm not saying you should be shooting at 90 meters, but if you're trying to use this Burletta past 30 meters, if you want this to cover like 40 to 50 meters, I would so put an extended barrel on. So you can like use that Ferro, get that shot with the Ferro. What's this guy, like 40 meters?
Target dummy, over there.
So basically what we were talking about with like that Ferro Burletta combo earlier, you can just go, pop, get your Ferro, bring out your Burletta, and then just go ham with the long barrel. Just to finish up the job. Shouldn't take too many bullets. Not the most accurate. This does make your vertical recoil more crazy. Like, I'm not saying this is like the end-all be-all Burletta, but it does look pretty badass with a fucking extended barrel on it. And I know, like, nobody's really using extended barrel. You could put it on a Ferro if you're trying to make your Ferro beam at much longer ranges. Like, but anything within 100 meters, you'll be fine with the base Ferro. If you're trying to do like some 200-meter shots, put the extended barrel on that. The bullet velocity on the Osprey and the Renegade already feel really great. I wouldn't even put an extended barrel on those because, like I said, they feel fine as is. But if you want to shoot a little further with your Burletta, if you're using one like a Ferro, I definitely put extended barrels on my Burlettas because it's fun. If you're trying to just focus more on PvP and just close quarters or just running around and hip fires, put a Compensator on. Compensator is a great option here. Let's put that Compensator on it. And as you can see, like, it'll make our bloom super tight. We're also hella more accurate with the Compensator, especially for crouch. Because there's like no bloom, there's really like no recoil. And then this should tighten up our hip fire a little bit. Yeah. So if that's your playstyle for the Burletta, if you're just dancing around people, just using it strictly for PvP, I'd take it out with the Compensator. But if you're trying to be John motherfucking Wick, which I usually am with the Burletta, this is what the Hairpin wishes it could be. Like I said, we don't really need a Compensator. A muzzle brake is also pretty decent on a Burletta. But I like just using suppressor because look how quiet this sounds. And even if we're like aiming for headshots at like 20 meters here, and if we just spam volley here, like, we're going to get a good amount of headshots. Or I'm out of ammo. But it's going to be way more accurate with the Compensator for sure, or like a muzzle brake. Muzzle brake's decent for this too. But if you're just trying to be a John Wick stealthy guy, you want to pull this out, deal with some light arc real quick. The feel of a Burletta, like even the Suppressor 1 feels good on this. Like, I'm not saying you need to go all the way up to Suppressor 3. Suppressor 2 feels great. But honestly, Suppressor 1 also feels just as good. I'm a bit of a Burletta fanboy, guys. This is one of the guns that's grown on me. Probably one of my top 5 favorite guns in the game. I just love it, man. It's like my ideal secondary for a lot of my different guns. But that's how I build out my Burlettas. All right, and we are finished with this video. That is insane, guys. Let's pull out the guitar. Rejoice! For this long video is done. In a few days, we'll have the reset. Guys, what did you like most about this video? Did you learn something? What did you learn? I want to hear about it. I've been loving all the comments and the activity we've been getting in the comment section lately. So let me know, what did you learn? What's your favorite gun to use? And is there any setups out there you guys like to use that I didn't mention in this video? Please comment down below. Until next time, my friends, have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile. I will see you guys on the next one.